On January 25th, President Donald Trump signed an executive order to compel state and local agencies to serve as immigration forces.
And we're going to strip federal grant money from the sanctuary states and cities that harbor illegal immigrants. The American people are no longer going to have to be forced to subsidize this disregard for our laws.
What is a sanctuary city? Typically, in a so-called sanctuary city, local police refrain from helping federal authorities identify undocumented immigrants for deportation unless they have committed serious crimes. Trump's executive order makes it federal policy to require state and local agencies to enforce federal immigration laws. It also gives Homeland Security Secretary John Kelly the authority to determine what city is in violation of that and empowers the U.S. Attorney General to take appropriate enforcement action. The executive order puts Trump on a collision course with Supreme Court precedent and states' rights.
LAPD officers, just like in New York and Chicago and any small town, shouldn't be immigration officials. That's the responsibility of the federal government.
Anti-sanctuary city policies have been a consistent theme for President Trump as he seeks to draw a link between illegal immigration and crime.
But to be a rich country, we must also be a safe country. Right now, too many families don't feel secure.
Numerous studies have shown, however, that newly arrived immigrants are actually less likely than ordinary citizens to commit crimes or be incarcerated. Sanctuary city advocates say the executive order will make cities less safe because it will force people into the shadows and make them less likely to cooperate with local police.
This executive order could undermine the relationship between our police department and our communities, which has been the foundation of our ability to drive down crime.
And we build trust by having that connection between the communities that we're sworn to protect and serve and the police officers. And again, I wouldn't want to do anything to put that at risk.
Los Angeles Mayor Eric Garcetti rejects the sanctuary city label, but a 40-year-old statute prevents LA police from being used to enforce federal immigration laws.
That's not the job of local police officers, whose job is to establish trust with all residents, to make sure that they can be witnesses to crimes, that they can talk to their police. That's responsibility of the federal government.
Mr. Trump has limited power to strip federal funding without the express approval of Congress. But the president could have more leeway to suspend or slow the allegation of discretionary grants, particularly those related to criminal justice and dispensed by the Justice Department or the Department of Homeland Security. In New York, for example, city officials said the executive order could take away over $150 million earmarked for law enforcement.
Executive order is written in a very vague fashion. We believe that not only will it be susceptible to many legal challenges, but that it will meet with tremendous public resistance all over the nation.
On this, de Blasio and others seem to have the law on their side. As in the precedent set in the 2012 Affordable Care Act case, NFIB v. Sebelius. As originally written, the Affordable Care Act threatened states with withdrawal of their Medicaid funding unless they agreed to extend the program to more patients. In a Supreme Court opinion, Chief Justice John Roberts argued that then-President Obama's executive order amounted to a financial gun to the head. While many provisions in the act were upheld, this particular mandate was struck down. In an earlier precedent-setting case in 1997, Prince v. U.S., Associate Justice Antonin Scalia wrote that the provision in the Brady Act that required state and local law enforcement officials to do background checks of firearm purchases was unconstitutional. He concluded that the constitutional system of federalism bars Congress from pressing state officials into service to execute federal laws. Again, the mandate was struck down. He wrote, "A healthy balance of power between the states and the federal government will reduce the risk of tyranny and abuse from either front."